So, Alex, do you have any more tips or advice you could give?
Moral tips. Which question is this? I'm looking at the Skype thing.
Um,
I
this
don't
is
remember.
so. How do you deal with your anger?
Okay, so well, I'm a very angry guy sometimes, but I don't take my hate towards other objects or other living things. But I use that energy. It's a very creative energy, you know, and I use it to draw and to study more. Whenever I'm angry, I feel more comfortable drawing and doing like really hard work because I don't know, there is an energy that pushes you, and it's like going to a psychologist and telling him all your problems, um, and yeah, makes you feel better. And after you're finished drawing, the anger will disappear. Like it's it's something like very wonderful for me. I don't know if other guys have it, but yeah, I've been using that a lot
Hmm.
to get motivated, and yeah, it
Um.
keeps me with my feet on the ground. And
Oh, and I'm just having images go by, and they're from your past, so it's showing your progress of how you
yeah,
how you.
I can tell you about how I started drawing. Actually, I mean how I really end up drawing. Well, I met my girlfriend in high school, and we fell in love, and we didn't want it to be apart at the university. She wanted to go at first in one city, and I wanted to go to the other city. But I decided to follow her, and it was the best damn thing that I did. Because otherwise, if I would have gone in the other city, there wasn't a design school there. I wouldn't have the time to get to know art. Uh, Probably my relation with her would have ended because like distance is a important factor, and we were kids. We were, I think, in our 20s or so. So yeah, and yeah, because of her, I started drawing in a weird way, Uh, I ended up in the right time at the right place.
That's
Uh,
that's really sweet. Um.
and
So.
yeah, and across the time, she makes me focus more on what I want from drawing. Um, we developed a very healthy life now. We don't watch TV anymore. We're towards learning new stuff and being happy and stuff like that. I can say we're not brainwashed anymore from the rest of the media and so on. I know.
Does she draw too?
Yeah, she started drawing. She also started doing plushes a while ago, but this passion faded a bit. She did quite a while, but she's a very shy person. She doesn't like to post around. I kept on telling her that it's very important to be in a community, being surrounded by people like you, but she didn't get over that thing and yet, and yeah, that passion faded, and now she's learning to draw with me.
Hmm.
uh, in the video that I showed my workspace, you can see that we very big desk. So yeah, when we bought it, we thought of that we will work together, one next to another one. So yeah,
Aw. um.
we will motivate each other. And she's learning really good, but she's really shy to post. So yeah, maybe one day everyone will see her works. I'm looking forward to that also.
Maybe I can do an interview with her one day.
Yeah.
So you mentioned being active in the community. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Active in the community. You need to pay attention what everybody else is doing and try to whenever someone is feeling down, you must drop him a line, encourage him or her that his work is going towards the right way, because not overdoing it. Like I see a lot. For example, on DeviantArt, you post a crappy sketch, and then like you receive 100 comments like, "Whoa, this is great." That doesn't help. You should come with this kind of comments whenever that artist is feeling down, or you feel that he's down. That helps him actually more. And yeah, being active in the community, again, the base question of this, because again, I started ranting. I started being active in the community because of Vic, my friend from Timișoara. He told me about the Crimson Daggers while I was in school, but back then I didn't listen to him, so I did a bad mistake.
Why didn't you listen to him?
Because when somebody tells you like, dude, there's this place or this TV show that is really good, you don't want to see it, honestly, because you feel like, okay, so I want to have my own experiences. I want me to discover those, not because X or Y told me go there. It's
Right.
kind of weird, but yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I think like that. And yeah, it took a while for me to enter in the community. Um, anyway, it took me a while to enter in the international community, in the international forums. But at first I started on a big Romanian forum, Visual Art. And in there you can find all my progress, like since when I started, like the very first drawings that I did. And back then, uh, I was posting like every day, but I wasn't posting good stuff. I was just messing around, drawing sketches. I was looking at speed paint artists. Back in the day, I discovered Andrew Jones. I didn't thought that he can draw or something like that, but I thought it's because of the software that he uses. He's coming up with these awesome pieces of art, and I tried to emulate brushes in Photoshop. I didn't knew he uses Painter. Anyway, so yeah, in that forum, I received my very first critique, like actually a person called my drawings visual farts. And yeah, instead of being angry and argue with that person, like how dare you call my masterpieces like like that, I really took it as a challenge and tried to prove that person that I can do better and I can improve. And yeah, try to, if somebody tells you something like hard at like at that thing, oh sorry, I'm mumbling. uh, Try to not take it to the heart. Maybe if you would use that anger that builds inside you while reading that comment, at drawing will help you much more.
Yeah. Um. So, do you have any advice on how to study?
um Try to be as smart as you can. Do notes. Try to observe even when you're not studying. If you're going out for a walk, try to observe things. Like for example, in the last couple of days, I was just looking in my kitchen and I noticed that certain elements that are in the kitchen, but if I would have drawn them, like if I would have drawn a kitchen from my mind, I wouldn't have drawn them. It's like the ventilation system. I wouldn't think of that. Why would somebody need a ventilation system? But they need. How does the fridge look? He has like tiny little feet that he's standing on, and stuff like that. Try to observe your surroundings, and you will learn so much more. It's like doing notes with your mind. you know. Another thing is to, if you look for reference, this is a personal thing that I discovered. For example, you look at animal reference. Don't search bear or eagle or crow or whatever. Try to search them with their Latin name. You will find like very good reference with, I mean Latin name, I mean scientific name. uh, and you will find very good reference with done by professional, by biologists and stuff like that. And those references are much more better than the ones done by like average Joes like me. You
Oh,
know?
that's a great tip. So instead of typing in cats and getting a whole bunch of images
Yeah,
of
you
just
should buy a book that has like all their names specified. I have one of those books. I think it's visible in that video with my books.
what was it called again?
It calls animals, but it's called animals, but I don't know if that's the title in English. It's in Romanian, that book, but
Okay.
I'm sure it was translated from another book because it has tons of animals. And whenever I need something to look at or so, like an animal or a pattern from an animal, I'm searching for that Latin name. Yeah, so yeah, it
Hmm.
definitely helps.
So you do 2D primarily, but you also did 3D, right?
Yeah, I did a bit of 3D. I'm not very good with polygon efficiency. I can't model like low poly stuff, but I can pretty much model everything I'm supposed to model in 3D Max or Maya. I played around with both of these softwares
So did
when I was in college.
did no does knowing 3D help you in your 2D drawings?
Definitely, you will start understanding perspective much better for some reason because you see the correct perspective every time you open that file and you spin it around. I don't know how it's called, rotate it. Yeah. So yeah, you and it forces you to think 3D, not only 2D. When you draw in 2 dimensions, it's flat usually because you're not thinking like really well about the third dimension. And also like learning about perspective has improved my anatomy skills. Before I did the perspective studies, I didn't thought that there is perspective in the human body or in any organic shape in this world. Only now I understand. I mean, only after I started studying perspective, I understood. Oh, okay, so I can put everything in a cube, so that gives me the perspective of that object, and yeah, it's much more easier now.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, it definitely helps. Try sculpting, try photography. I was discussing with Sycra just before this interview. It can really help your composition. Also, watch tutorials. I bought a lot of tutorials. Of course, I have my uh, fair share of torrented tutorials, but I as soon as I started doing money from art, I never downloaded any illegal tutorials ever again. Yeah, now I buy everything I support, but back then, like, I'm so thankful to those pirated tutorials. I mean, I couldn't do anything without them. Now I'm buying like tutorials that I really like. I'm buying them right now because I like them, and I want to support those artists that put the hard work and time for those tutorials. Anyway, if you ask me, all tutorials should be free. Free education would help this world being a much better place.
And speaking of that, you actually post some videos on YouTube of your own paintings, right?
Yeah, I post studies on YouTube. Maybe you can type the link in the description of the video so people can find them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I post real-time videos. I want to for people to see how fast I paint, what settings I'm using, what brushes I'm using, because in the beginning for me it was very weird. When I started, there were only speed painting videos on the internet, and that messed up my thinking. I thought everybody paints really fast. I mean, I of course I didn't think that the paintings were done at that speed, but I was imagining that the real speed of the artist is kind of close to that, like half of that speed, and that was still pretty fast. But rushing things doesn't help. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can find like real-time video tutorials. Also, speaking of tutorials, I started learning color as soon as I started using the RGB color system. Like, you have HSB, RGB, LAB, and another one that I don't remember. Uh,
CMYK and
yeah, yeah, yeah. But the RGB for me made like I improved so much since I discovered that tutorial, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna give it to Sycra so he can post it in the description of the
is it
video.
is it the
It's from
Linren
yeah,
tutorial?
Lean Run
Yeah, okay.
tutorial.
All
That's the
right.
most amazing thing you can come up.
Yeah, I remember when I found that tutorial and I started using RGB sliders only.
Yeah.
Um, cool. So, now you mentioned that when you didn't really look for work, did you? How did you find
Um,
work?
I looked for work in my vacations when I was not at school. I was trying to do portraits for $5 or so. I think if you browse through my DeviantArt journals, you can still find those. Uh, but yeah, like after a while, I realized that I don't have a strong portfolio, so I need to work very hard in order to achieve one. So I started entering in competitions, community challenges, and stuff like that. And that's the way I think I got every single job that I got in the end.
Hmm.
I never applied for the jobs that I've been working at.
So if
Not
someone's
once.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I said not once.
Oh, okay. If someone's looking for work and they're just applying to as many places as they can and they're not having success, then your advice to them would be what?
Mm, I don't know. Uh, it might be that you're a very good artist, but you're not applying at the right market. You have only character stuff in your portfolio, and you're applying for an environment job. They probably won't give you that because you don't have any environments. How would they know if you can perform for them? So yeah. Also, yeah, the portfolio is your like your ID card. It shows everything that the employer needs to know about you. If you have a good portfolio and it's out there, I mean they found it somewhere online, it's most probably that they will get back at you. Then, I mean, imagine like everybody sends portfolios to the art director. Imagine how many emails those art directors read. Uh, put yourself in their place. Would you read those emails? Like every day you open your email, there are like 100 emails from different artists. You get tired. Like you might do it once or twice, but after that, I don't think they will ever look in those emails. So it's better if they see you online, like an active person, like very serious about his art and yeah, hardworking.
Cool. Is there any other advice you have?
Um, Subscribe to Sycra.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I mean,
Yeah.
you guys who watch this bonus footage.
Yeah, we kept on doing bonus and bonus. We were talking and we were like, oh,
We
we
thought
haven't
the
talked about
interview was
this.
done, and then
Yeah.
after, Alex is like, "Oh, I could have showed them this," and it's like, "Ah, yeah, we should." Uh, and then, anyway, it's all for you guys. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Thanks again for having me, and thanks everyone who looked at this, and I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, don't forget
Thanks.
to subscribe to Sycra. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching.